What's up, everybody? Is this on? Yep, it looks like we are live. What's up, guys? Wanted to jump on here and just do some live coding. Let's go ahead and just get into it here. I got a Netflix movie playing in the background. I am playing A Man in Full. I thought it was a movie. I guess it's a TV show. I just picked something. If you guys are just joining, feel free to comment. Let me know where you guys are joining from. Let me know. Where was I at? I got so many windows on my computer, guys. I don't even know which way is up sometimes. Is this the browser that I signed in at? Yup. Should we share this on? Let me see if I can log into X. I said it right. I called it X. Yep, that's right. I wish I could go live on X. I don't think I have permissions to do that yet. I was actually working on a live streaming app that allows you to go live on multiple platforms. So, yeah. I need another screen if I'm going to continue doing these lives. Like, I switch. Can't spell today, clearly. Alright. I was trying to get some people to join. Please join. My YouTube lives are dead. Please use keyframe frequency. I don't even know what this means, guys. I really don't. Let me actually just pull this up on my phone, though. In case somebody jumps on and comments, I want to be able to say what's up. Live. Can't see it. Let me try pasting in the link in my browser. That didn't. Oh. That's no good. Oops. Edit post, got it. How do I share this? Oh, I'm so glad I didn't just leak my stream key. How do I share a live stream, guys? Share, here we go. There we go. Alright, let me try to pull this up on my phone before we get into this here. Yep, here we go. Before we get into this here. Oh, it's working. If you guys are just joining, please let me know you're here in the chat. I wonder if I can see the chat on my phone. It's working. If you guys are just joining, please let me know you're here in the chat. Alright, so let's go ahead and just dive in, guys, and let's go ahead and get into some coding here. So, still working on the expense app. So here I just added this properties here. That's Oh, gotcha. I'm getting this error because I'm actually using React Fast Image. And it's not compiling an Expo correctly, so I actually need to pull up a simulator, and I'm looking for the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Sure, we can do it on the Pro Max. That's going to take a second just for it to build, and then I'll pop up in the simulator. But while that go ahead and does its thing, let's not let that slow us down, and let's continue to write some code. Alright, so working on this property views, right, and then we're going to hook up editing the property in our database. And then, yep, so here, properties, property ID. So here, this is, I mean, I don't have to use AI, but I like using AI because it just makes life a lot easier and it helps developers like me ship a lot faster. So let's go ahead and give it a prompt. Property, you know what, we're gonna cheat. So here's another app that I was working on, and then we're just gonna paste it in here. Use React Native Paper. And then what's so cool about AI for actual developers is it does help us out, but this completely did the wrong thing. Native, create this form using so it'll do some good scaffolding for us, and then fetch property, add image. Yeah, so essentially so much of this is going to change, but it's definitely a good starting point. Yeah, AI is going crazy, and I know why. So people talk about shipping full apps with AI. Good luck, guys. And here's actually where AI can like slow you down because you're just like patiently waiting on it. My computer sounded like it's gonna blow up with building this out here and then running Xcode. So we'll see the app actually get installed on this here. Hopefully we don't run into any build errors because those build errors are definitely a productivity killer. Alright, so this is actually looking pretty good. Yeah, it's looking good. Property edit. Yep, hooks up the real time to bind to the form. Yeah, so like I was using ChatGPT-4 because it's just fast for like small tweaks and stuff that I want to do. But this looks good. It's actually Firebase client for my import here. And then, are you done? Did you run on the phone yet? Yep, so then here, just doing my imports. Here is export default. I'm grabbing the business ID ID from the context provider up here. Grabbing the property ID. I'm a little OCD. I kind of, when I do take the time to do nice code, I like a kind of hierarchy of, so here this is like hooks, right? And then I do like do a little comment here, and this is refs. And then I like to just shorten up this functions. Property, real time listener, that's fine. Here's a little app. That's my Photoshop skills right there with the banner card. So here, I don't like this card. I'm not going to use this card. Wherever it's importing this card from, it's not the UI that I want. It is not. It's really not. But all of this is looking relatively good. This images, is that a thing? I don't even think I'm using images for properties, nor do I want to right now. So alright, so that just bundled up. Now we can actually see what we're doing. So demo, doom, properties. Here is the list of properties. It takes a second to load those images at once, but once they load, they'll be lightning fast. And we're actually hitting up a Google API to display these property images, and then if I click on it, I just got an error. So I'm gonna import use global search params from Expo Router. A little annoying how it always kicks me back to that root route every time I save. Properties. Where'd my oh, this one don't have any properties. Demo. There we are. Demo. Here's the properties. Yep, so that looks really bad. Let's change that. So here, let me just hack this. Oh, I already got a mode. So I'm just going to replace all of these modes to flat. That's a little better. And then here we should have a layout file, properties index. Yeah, so I need property ID. That looks good. And that should give us a header now. Nope, header shown true, property ID. Do I really need to do this? This is really annoying in Expo Router. Yeah, so when you specify Expo Router using the file system, file-based router here, you need to do the index here. Expo Router is nice, but I also still feel like React Native navigation has a special place in my heart because you can do some pretty cool things with it. And Expo Router feels like a lot with like Vue with like kind of like single file components. By that I mean with React Router is that you could like define your components at your routes and like components up top, and then just show your router here and just dynamically render that. We're doing that in a part of our app. So this should just edit the property. Let's test it out here. We're going to change this to just 6,000. This is also a little tough with this flat list here. Listen to properties. I really thought that this, we're pulling in this properties from our business provider context here. This is just kind of like how I like to structure my application. I do use Redux in some projects, but I actually really like React context. Once I figured it out and like got good at it and made sense of it, I absolutely loved it. And it's just a great place to like create functions and keep your code like this relatively just with JSX. Like, yeah, so this could all be filtered up into a context provider, and honestly it should, but it's not going to make or break anything right now. So get properties, get docs. All right, this is another reason why I love AI. Change this to real time. This should be real time because when you create an expense, you can link it to a property, and like if you just add the property, we want it to show up in the select to show up in real time. So that's all working. And then a properties index. I want to put this in a view. Oh no, that's property ID index. Yeah. So class name. We're using native Win to be able to do this. Get rid of button here, and then I'm going to import button from components UI button. Need to get rid of this mode prop here, and then it's actually title. Boom, boom, boom. There's our submit. Let's go ahead and head back to our business provider context file and see if the snapshot listener is done. I'll go ahead and load it up, check for errors. Now here we go to properties. And yes, something must have broke. Did I really do testing? Oh, it's demo. It's demo. Here we go. And here we got the 6000. Loaded the new image. Let's do this. Let's do 123 Park Street. Beloit. And for now, this app's not going to be in the United States. We don't need to do anything else. So then here, yeah, so then that's updated. And then here, if you're familiar with Beloit, you see the Rock River right there. So perfect. So we were able to update properties, but we're not able to add properties just yet. So let's go ahead and add that in. So what we want is we want to add a button to the top right of the app right here. That's going to actually take them to, we're going to share this form to edit properties. So you're using the same form to edit properties as well as update properties. So let me just clean things up. Right click, close others. It's a great little trick there that I like to use. Now this here, I think it's this stack. Yep. So here's my property, right? And I'm going to do header right. This is actually what I want. Perfect. Thank you, AI. Now I got to make sure I'm importing that icon. Am I already importing it? Let's just save and see if something crashes. Icon symbol. Yep. So, yep. And while we're in here, let's go ahead and clean this up. Here is, and I like to clean this down. So this is Firebase imports. This is context. All right. Clean up your code, guys. I'm just kidding. This is all my code. All right. Expo router. We're going to put this hooks. And then here, we're going to put, like here, for example, there's two calls to Expo router. We're just going to merge them, delete unused imports, icon symbol. That's going to be in components. Boom, boom, boom. That's good enough. So, I don't know, I just feel like this is so much easier to read, like, just with these small amount of comments here. And then you could also, like, do comments right here. This is just my style of programming, guys. Everybody is different. We all have different preferences. And then this is actually going to go down here. And I don't even need to, honestly, like, type in any comments here. If you do comments, I'd use JS Docs. And perfect. So that is rocking and rolling. So we'll head back to demo. Actually, let's do this since we're in here, right? Let's go to testing. Expo Go. Okay, I don't care about Expo Go. I'm using properties. So we need an empty state in here, right? Let's go ahead and just see how we did it for businesses. Expenses. Tabs, expenses. Index. So we got an empty state right here, right? And this is exactly what I want. This is exactly what I'm looking for. And what I'm actually going to do is I think I could, I always forget which key to press that allows you to highlight more. And then I'm going to copy that. So I should be able to copy both of it. Yep. And the key to do that. So I'm copying content down here and I'm also copying this up here. That is actually the option key on Mac. And then let's go ahead and head back over to properties, hit up this flat list, and we're going to paste that in, copy that, and then I'm going to move it up to the imports. Perfect. And then here we see just the empty state of saying no properties. If you guys are wondering how I got this fancy little icon, right, this is super cool. Check this out. So it's a Lottie file. Okay. And you can do a lot with just a free account. So there's thank you all to these contributors that put these beautiful fancy animations up here, because like I personally I love them. They are so great. I love the experience that it just gives to users and the way it makes your app feel. So yeah, so here you could just do like search empty state, right? And you got like a cool little search guy. That's sad. But anyways, let's get back to coding. So here I actually need to, I don't like this scrolling issue that's happening. So I think if I just add a class flex1 to this, it should fix it. Yeah, all right. Let's go ahead and check out, or back to what we were doing. Oh, something. Now layout. We're navigating to business properties new. So this should work, right? So, however, we need to actually pass the business ID. Sure, I'm getting it from use global search params. All right, that's fine. So then here I'm actually just gonna pass in the correct business ID there. Testing properties new, and here's a new property, right? And we're actually getting a Firebase error saying that insufficient permissions. Likely it's just because the the property does not exist. So then here, let's go ahead and go back to property ID index. Okay. So we're gonna do some fancy stuff here, right? Fetch property. Alright, so this is actually property. Okay, this is good. If property ID is equal to new, bail. Okay. Now, where's my update? Okay, so here. Alright. If, thanks AI, if property is equal to new, we're going to create it. Set doc. I don't think that's right. Yeah, so I want to do add doc for sure. I don't even know. I can't remember Firebase's syntax sometimes. I can remember fetching to APIs, but can't remember this. Business ID properties, doc ref. This don't look right, but let's try it. Yeah, I had a feeling this was not correct. Yeah, that's what I thought. Alright. Boom. Doo-doo-doo. Let's delete that. Save it. Collection doesn't exist, so I gotta import that. Missing are insufficient permissions. Business ID property set submitting false bail. Let me just go ahead and check that this. Business ID. That's weird. What's going on? Is this why it's not working? Great. What? I've never seen this before. It's putting a dollar sign in front of this. Alright, I'm gonna restart my server. This is really odd. Alright, what that is. Where am I importing text from? Okay, that's why. That was really odd. I'm gonna import text from React Native. Here's my. So there's that, right? Put business ID. Alright, let's just do this. Okay, this is. I see why this is happening. Something has to be wrong when I'm navigating. Yeah, that's on. Okay. God, this is ugly. Alright, that's a little better. Okay. I was gonna say, I know I got my security-based rules and Firebase set up correctly. So that should have created it, right? If I go back, yep, it created it. Alright. Alright. Go ahead and, what are we gonna do now? Testing. I was supposed to add it in this. No, I think we're going to have a problem, right? So I'm going to go ahead and save this, okay? And then if I go back, I created it, right? And then if I save it, I should update it. But let's now do 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to save it, right? And then I'm going to save it again and see what happens. And yeah, that's what I thought we were going to get. I thought we were going to get 2 saves. And we don't want that to happen. So option number 1 is we could do like router go back to the properties view. Or we can update like the router param. And then it would, if we update the router param, instead of new to the actual ID of the object that we created, it would then update it correctly in the database. So let's see how we can do that. You know what? I'm not going to look at this doc, so I'm going to go back here for a second. I want to see if we could figure this out on our own. So Expo router, where's it at? Where's it at? Expo router. Where's my imports? This is exactly why I like to comment these, but I don't think I have it. That's why I can't see it. Okay, so then we're importing the router, and then it's going to be const router because you use router. I don't think I've ever done this before. but I can probably guess what the syntax is going to be. Router dot set. I mean, this is that's what I was hoping it was going to be. Something like that, right? And so what we would do is we do like router dot set params property ID docref dot ID. Now let's test this. I would be absolutely shocked if this works, but sometimes it's better just to hit it with your best shot and see if it works. So then here I'm gonna do, right, just show the property ID right there. Use router doesn't exist. I thought oh, there we go. Add a new, alright, so that's our property ID, right? Let me actually, I don't want any notifications popping up. Alright. Perfect. So, use router, right? And then we're calling the hook right here. And then this is actually coming from use global search params. I'm actually going to just do this, use local search params as well. And then I'm going to do const. I can do this because local is like, being that like I'm right inside of this stack, I can use local, but since I like, for business ID, I'm like going all the way up here. So I want to use like global there. But then I need to do this, I need to alias this. PID is fine. So then here, I'm just going to see if any of these values updates with my router set params function, but I don't think it is going to work. Yeah, so this function does exist. Cool. I may have like known this because of React Router, just a FYI, so I'm not like crazy smart or anything. Please don't think I am, because I'm really not. Alright, so test. Look at that. So our property ID is then set automatically. So wow, this just worked out of the box, so that's pretty sweet. And then we did test. I'm gonna just save it again, okay? And then now we only got one test in here, so that prevents us from doing that. Now it's like, have this in your code base, right? It just like, if you ever want to go back, like it's one line of code, right? Say if we wanted to navigate back on new properties only, right? You could do something like this, router dot go back, or is it back? Yeah. And then I could like uncomment this if I wanted to. So it's like, just do the work now and determine how you want your UI to appear later. So this should then go back. Let me remove this alert. Perfect. So we got editing properties, that's all hooked up, and then we could, add new properties. That's great. And now, so check this out, right? On the property ID, instead of just bailing right here, right? Instead of this new, I think I need to do use navigation here. So now we're pulling and use navigation from Expo Router. Const navigation equals use navigation. If property ID is equal to, oh, that was actually right. I shouldn't have did that. Now, let's do this. Actually, yeah, let's do navigation, set options. Okay, and then I'm going to do header right. And then, sorry about the movie, they're doing some swearing on the TV show, I apologize. And then here, that's kind of like what I want. But let's just make sure I'm pulling in these pressable, and then I need to pull in my icon symbol. God, it's really hard for me to remember everything. Display name doesn't exist. Icon symbol. Something's wrong. Alright, so this is kind of what slows me down. So I got to go back to my components. UI. Icon symbol. That's what it is. Components, UI, icon symbol. Oh, jeez. Oh, why is this happening? Okay. So this icon symbol has been something created by like the initial Expo project that I've been using. So I apologize that we had a hiccup here, but the way they export it, they don't do export default, they do export. And then when you consume exports like that, you need to just destructure it here. So that's why that happened. Testing, menu, properties. Property. There's my trash can. Color red, always red. And then on press, I'm going to put in a function handle delete. Handle delete doesn't exist. I knew I was gonna get that. I just in robot like save. Fresh proper. Let's minimize that. All right. So I knew AI is going to do this automatically for me. Router dot go back. Watch. Router go back, and that's it. So then here, and then I like to always, since we're in here, let's go ahead and clean this up a little bit, right? So I'm gonna try to see if I can figure this out. So there's a way. I think you press like Control and nope, that's not how you do it. Let's try Option. Yeah. So if I do Option and up and down arrow, right, I could actually just move this around. That's a little tricky though. It's a little confusing, but there it goes. So I don't know where it was at, but I just was moving it to up here, and then I see that. So we're just gonna merge these two. Okay. Don't need that. Don't need that. I actually want to move this one down to, that's a useful trick to move things down. So once again, that was an Option key. And yeah, so if you're behind the line at the end of the line or start of the line, you can quickly just like move it around. That was Option, up and down arrow. So that's a pretty cool trick. And the delete, we're just gonna comment. Mount. That works. Alright, so then here we got our component just kind of cleaned up a little bit, right? And the reason why it's like, you know, we're in here, we're doing changes, we got our validation figured out, you know, we just got this little commented out, which is fine. And then here, this all looks good. I'm just like doing like a get code review right now. So I'm just looking at the code, you know, I'm looking at the little error states here. This looks good. And it all looks good. There's my submitting submitting button. So that all checks out. I mean, the UI isn't anything like crazy fancy or anything, but it works, right? It does its job. It's, you know, clean. This is kind of like how when I do write code, this is what I want it to look like once it's done. And then here we're actually going to do, I don't know, I really like these haptics, right? And then when we handle delete, fetch property, when we do the save here, we could take this code and we could put it in a component of its own, a function of its own. But we'll just leave it. There are some haptics there. And then this is bad because what we should do is do a try catch here. And if there was an error, of course, alert it to the user, right? So that's a good way to go about it. Try catch. And then here I'm just going to console.log the error right there. So just doing some cleanup stuff, right? And then same for delete, right? This should be in a try catch. Ooh, I gotta pee. Alright, hang tight for a second, guys. I will be right back. So please go ahead and stand by, and I'll see you guys in just a second. All right, we are back. Cool. Let's continue diving into this. Now, one thing that I've been needing to hook up inside of this project was an alert system. I do know what alert system I'm going to hook up inside this project. I do need to reference the docs to do that. And it's going to be React Native Notifier. Now, this notifier doesn't look too good on Android. I know that because I did another project. But what does, React has this feature for Androids, which is like Android Toast or something. Toast. React Native. Yeah. So I want to create a custom like hook that I can call to dispatch an alert. However, if Android, I want to show this alert, right? Let me see if I can't do this on web. Bummer. So let's go ahead and hook that up quick. So here, for setup, our whole entire app, so our root layout should be wrapped in a notification provider, which it should be from via or theme provider. So components, providers, theme provider. notification wrapper. So that looks good, right? So let's go ahead and hit up our hooks folder. We're going to create a file called use alert. See, do I even need a hook for this? I don't know, but we'll just start coding anyways. Export default function use alert. Right, and then here import platform from React Native. I'm going to need to import this. I'm not going to test this now. I'm not, but that's okay. And then inside of the user alert, let's just create a... How do I want to do this? Yeah, this is our cons. Show alert. Let's call it show alert. Oh. And then inside of this hook, I'm going to return show alert. That's exactly what I want. Now, all right, let's close to right here. All right, okay, clean things up. One small thing at a time. And then here in my hooks folder, I'm going to do export default as use alert from use alert, right? Now inside of this component or property ID, we're going to import that hook, right? So we're going to do hooks use alert from hooks. It's actually the hook index. So I'm using a barrel, right? So this index TS, that's a barrel. So I'm just aliasing these imports. So when I do import my hooks, I can just import as many hooks like this from this file path. I just like it. Now, so we've got that. Now we're going to destructure that custom hook that we did, right? So here within that hook, we're returning an object with the function use alert, right? So we're going to destructure it. So we're going to do const show alert equals use alert. And then what we're going to do is on submit, right? We're going to just do it for the editing for now. Show alert. So the first parameter I want is going to be a string, and that's going to be success followed by a message saying property updated. Go back to our use alert, and yeah, so this I want the type to be first, right? Type title. Is it title? What did it just use? Okay, it is title. Title. I'm gonna just set it to a string. Oh, we could do some TypeScript if we want to. Here, title description. Perfect. So this should work. And if platform dot OS is equal to iOS, we want to show this one. Right, that works good. Oh. And then here, we're only developing for iOS and Android. If we were to do a web version, it would be in Next.js. And then so on Android, it's going to look something like this. As this is a little toast. In case you guys are wondering what this is you'll see it in Android apps. It's like a bottom alert bubble that kind of animates up, pops up. I think it's pretty cool. I like it on Androids. And then here, this is going to be title. Perfect. Let me look at this, right? Let me pull up the docs. I want to see what I can pass in for types. So alert types, I got success, error. We're actually going to copy this here, right? JS docs type option. So check this out. This is why I really like JS docs, guys. Hit up AI. Hey, write me some JS docs. Alright, so now in this hook, we just made it JS docs, right? So check this out. Now, when I go back to my file, weird, that didn't do what I wanted it to do. Huh. Oh, is it only like the user alert hook that shows the docs? Weird. Yeah, I don't know why that's not working. Usually when you use JS docs like that, it usually adds some syntax. Maybe, just maybe, it's because how we're importing or use alert. Just maybe. Let's see if that works. No? If anybody knows why this is not working, let me know. We should see. Yeah. Returns object. Yeah, I don't know why we're not seeing this. I'm sure I could Google it and figure it out, but let's continue. Alright, so let's go ahead and just save a property and see if we got our alert. Yep, so our alert did pop up. For some reason the background's not working on it. Let's fix that. Just spelled that wrong. Perfect. So now we got our alert, right? And then error. So I actually do this. So I actually like doing my calls like this, where whenever we're doing a form submission, we're setting a loading state for the button, for example. I always set it to true right away. Then I got my try catch that handles my logic. And then finally, I always turn off submitting. And then here, if there's an error, that looks good. Let's do it. Let's actually do this, right? Let's do a test, right? So how this try catch works is I'm actually going to throw our error right here. Throw test error, right? See, and then we got our error message. So that's how try catch works. But what I want to do is let's actually do this. So this should trigger a Firebase error. Let's see what we get. Yep. Yeah, so we just get an error message, and like, I really don't like these Firebase errors in here. I would rather see a custom error message, so I'm not going to do it like that. But you could, so we'll just... And then we could do something like this, right? So if property ID is equal to new error creating property, else error updating property. So perfect. property updated. Let's actually just go back here. And it's always good to just throw an error, right? Test error. And this just ensures our code is working properly. One other thing I want to do is I want to do a haptics. Feedback. There we go. So with this haptics is just making like the phone like a haptic vibration feel on it. So I love them. I think it's so cool inside of apps you can do haptics. So this is all looking good. Let's go ahead and remove this error. And then, yep, so we got all of our properties hooked up. I don't like that that is red. I don't like it at all. We're going to make it white. And I'm not going to be lazy about this because here's what I'm doing for my icons, right? Import, use, this is just so tedious. From hooks. And then here, cons, colors equals use tailwind. Oh boy. And then here, yeah, so here this should be colors dot text. And then icon symbol. Oh, I'm not even in the right spot, guys. Not even in the right spot. Let's create a new property and let's see if our delete button shows up right away. Oh, we went back. That's fine. We don't care to check that right now. Oh, this is what I was talking about. Yeah, so right here, colors. Oh, dot text. Alright, so now I gotta, where's my hooks at? So this is kind of what I was talking about, right? How I do my hook things, because now I could just do use. Oh boy, I can't type today. Use tailwind. There we go. Now it should be white. And then here. Settings. Sorry, I got distracted for a second. And then if I go to developer, light appearance. That's one thing that I do need to go through as well, is audit my light appearance. And that should be okay. Yep. So now it's dark, and then if we switch it back, it's light. Here we go. It should be light. Let's just save. Why did it not update? Oh, I think I know why it's not updating. Colors, text. Yeah, it's white now. Huh. That's fine. Everything's correct. It just didn't update, but likely the reason why is because there's some hacky stuff going on that I'm doing for this use color scheme hook, because if you would like swipe the bottom bar here of your iOS app and then like jump back to the app, if I didn't have this hook, there would be like this light dark flicker that I can't stand. So this was just like a hack to try to fix that, but people traditionally don't change their color options that much. So yeah, thank you guys for checking out this video. I don't know how long I've been live for, but I'm going to jump off for a little bit. Hopefully you guys learned something. Any feedback for me, please let me know. I always want to help other people develop applications better. So thanks guys, talk to you later.